Welcome everyone back to back with Miss Denice Stanford. Today is a beautiful day and I hope it's going well for you. We have a very special guest for you today. We're excited to have her here, a longtime friend of mine, but let me do my formal introduction. So I'm gonna put my glasses on real quick and let's get to it. Today, we'd like to welcome our special guest and prestigious owner of A Taste of Sex Intimacy Coaching. This reigning queen of sensuality is teaching goddess from the East Coast all the way down south how to push the button. Although she specializes in sultry seduction, her wordplay may provoke a mental and emotional climax as she performs her very own erotic poetry. This Texas native is setting the precedent and mood for healthy communication, relationships, and sex. Please join me in welcoming Twila Be Good.
Round of applause.
Yes, thank you so much and welcome Twila for finding time in your busy schedule to meet with us. I think we've been trying to get this together for at least 2 months, right?
Right.
At least we started at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Yeah, so let me ask you, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great today. Ben, thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. But yes, I'm feeling great, full of energy. I have been moving around this morning. You know, I've taken my children to work, basketball, here, back to basketball. So full of life this morning. I love it.
Oh, good. Well, it seems like you've been really busy with your business, your career, your services. I've seen you on your videos, and I always comment, I think what you do is phenomenal. Now, you're a Dallas native, right?
Right.
Okay. And have you ever been anywhere else? I mean, like vacations and stuff, though, right?
Right. So I'm from Dallas, and I went to college in North Carolina. Stayed there for 20 years, was married, divorced, had my kids. And then about 8 years ago, I moved back home, back to Dallas. So wanted to start over, to start fresh, sold everything.
Oh my God, started fresh.
Started completely over, yes.
Oh,
and
wow.
Packed the car with my boys and decided it was time to come back home.
Okay, so what did that mean for you when you say come home? Was there family here? Was this just a familiar place?
Yes, family is here. My grandmother at the time was sick, so it was just the right time for me to come back home and be with family and just start all over again. And sometimes I feel that we need to do that.
We need that.
We do.
We need that. I definitely believe that. Our first topic here is A Taste of Sex Intimacy Coaching. Now, why do you feel there's a need for the intimacy coaching?
Well, a lot of times what I'm experiencing is in relationships, intimacy is lacking. And so clients come to me wanting to figure out, how do I get this spark back? Where is this connection? Where has it gone? And so when I'm working with them, intimacy is part of the foundation for a long-lasting and healthy relationship. It gives you that connection, that emotional connection that you have with your partner, and that chemistry. You bring all of that back. And so with intimacy, it can come in forms of physical touch, spiritual intimacy, taking those long walks together, also that emotional intimacy, intellectual intimacy. Having those conversations with your partner is what you need to be doing some form on a daily basis. And so I find that when that is lacking, that breaks everything else down. The physical act of sex may not be there anymore. The effective communication may not be there anymore. And it's simply because the intimacy is gone. So they come to me to figure out, how do I get that back?
How do you get that back?
Right.
A lot of people attach intimacy as an intimate moment of being sexual, but you've just explained it to mean more than that.
Right, because it's separate. You know, there's a physical act of sex. Okay, that's the easy part.
Right.
You know, that's not, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that part out.
Right.
You know, that's really easy. But it's that intimacy connection that can be so challenging to people when it's lost. So how do they get that back?
Yeah.
Right.
So what would a session look like between a couple that comes to you and say, hey, we've lost that spark per se. How do we get that back? What does that session look like? Where do you start?
With a coaching session, I have classes and then I have actual coaching sessions. So coaching sessions online are going to be like this online format, and they're telling me what their goals are, what their challenges are, and just listening to them, you know, taking my notes and giving them solutions and homework. When it comes to
so you immediately get them some homework.
Right.
Hey, this is what you need to.
You get homework. Yes, you get homework, and then the classes that I have, I do touch on that. And then there's more of a hands-on approach. So let me make this disclaimer and say that the classes, everyone is clothed, But I'm showing them how to touch, where to touch, and that's part of the coaching classes. So, yes.
Oh, well, that is really good. And I like the fact that you said online. So do you start with the online session first to just kind of gauge? No hard work here, you guys. It's going to be a nice, easy start. Is that why you do that, or you just kind of like, let's see how serious they are?
So a little bit of both. For me, it's to see how serious they are. A little bit of vetting to see what the client is like, but mainly, getting to build that relationship with them online before we actually meet, in person. And so when I'm working with them, they fill out a questionnaire, and then that lets me know about their relationship. How long have they been together? Do they have any children? Like I said, what their goals are, what are those challenges, and stay going from there. And then talking to them, and then the coaching sessions are about 2 hours. No, I'm sorry, hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
Right.
Now, do you ever go further than that when they say, well, I want to book more time? Do you just say, hold on, this is what you're going to get in this outline in this amount of time? Because for you, it's more effective based on what you've seen people go through.
Right, and so when we have this conversation, and if they want to continue those sessions, so I offer 4-week and 6-week sessions at an hour and a half each session. And so they can pay per session or group sessions. But yeah, with that, they get homework every day. Then we follow up with what they learned.
Right.
And then they also walk away with an intimacy coaching workbook that I created. So it is to help them in the long run, yes.
Yeah, and then they can see what they wrote and see their commitments or whatever it is you've got going on. That's kind of cool. So what is the one thing that you want people to know, regardless of the gender, sexual orientation, like whatever their preferences are? What is the one thing you wish they knew about intimacy?
Is that it's needed every day.
Every day.
Some point it is needed every day, and it can be small gestures. It could be simple kisses in the morning, before you go off to work. It could be texting each other throughout the day. It could be when you get home, cooking together. All of these are forms of intimacy, and so you don't have to make this extravagant moment. It's just those little simple things that that make it more meaningful.
Well, that's very good. You know how happy I get when my husband sends me like a little message, says, "Oh, I love you." I'm like, "Oh." That kind of makes you feel like that little tingle, like, oh, it's still there,
Exactly.
I do love stuff like that. So I think that's great. I love it. I love
Yes,
it.
it makes you feel like, oh, he's still attracted to me. He still desires me. He's being attentive to me, those small gestures. So yes, that makes a big difference in a relationship.
Good. So you have a book.
Yes.
When I first met you, I remember you telling me about your book, about your blog. You had a whole lot going on.
I had a whole lot going on and still do.
But it's so beautiful to see the transformation and the progress and, how well you're doing and all that you have come through and just made happen. I love to see it. I just love to see that. So what's with your book, it's called Pieces of Me.
Right.
Okay. And it shows you it derived from a blog. You just kind of started there.
Right.
But you made all that into a book.
I did. So shortly after my divorce, probably about 6 years after my divorce, maybe 5, I was like, I want to get my emotions out on paper. What can I do? So I started a blog, and I was just writing down those different experiences, raising 2 small children after divorce. What was that like in my marriage, and truly finding myself all over again. Hence the title, Pieces of Me, because all of these are different pieces of my life. And so I was talking to my girlfriends and decided I could make this into a book. And so I did. And so each chapter is a reflection of the different journeys that I have gone on. I'll say that. Yeah.
Like, this part of my life is where this happened. This part of my life is where I learned to grow. All those different things that happen as you take in that journey. That is wonderful. What was the most difficult thing about just sharing the whole honest truth of your marriage, your divorce, your just rediscovering who you were? I mean, sometimes it's kind of hard to just put your life out on the line. Everybody can be critical. That's hard.
True, but I wanted to get that out. I want to say the most difficult part was actually writing it down and coming to terms with myself and saying, okay, someone else can benefit from this. I need to go ahead and get started. So the difficult part was just, pushing myself to make it into a book.
Okay.
That would be the most difficult part. But overall, I wasn't afraid to let people, see who I was and see what I was going through. So being transparent was okay for me because I knew that I wasn't the only one going through these type of emotions and these different experiences.
Right.
After a divorce, it does change you. And so how can I relay my message to other women that may be experiencing this? And so that part was easy for me, but yes, the difficult part was getting started and saying, okay, I need to push myself and put this into a book. That was the most challenging part. And then once I did that, it was easy from there.
You were okay with that.
Yeah.
So did you get a lot of feedback from your book where people like, man, I relate to this, I've been through this, and did you feel people were drawn to you?
I did. Once you put it out there and you become relatable to people when you're talking about the content and sharing the experiences that you went through. And most importantly, when you're going through these life changes, how do you rediscover yourself? You know, sharing those pieces of information with the audience, and they can relate to that and be like, oh, okay, I can do that. You know, I can take this information and tailor it to fit me as I'm going through these life challenges. And so that part, you know, I would get feedback from people who read the book. I would get feedback from when I started putting it out there on the website. I would get feedback, and so that motivated me to continue to go and fast forward into what I'm doing now.
Very good, very good. You just knew somebody out there is going through the same thing.
Right.
It couldn't be just me.
Oh, absolutely.
So did you find that helping other people kind of helped you, just did something to continuously help you grow?
Right.
And get through it?
Right, that was like my motivation. Once I got started, realizing that I am, impacting someone allowed me to continue to grow. Pushing myself allowed me to continue to just grow and keep it going. And, talking to other women out there, like I said, who are going through the same thing. I was like, I have to continue to go. I can't stop now. And what else can I do to push the envelope and keep moving?
Keep them going.
Right.
Now, have you come to a point where you feel like, okay, I have done all I can do for you, but y'all are not trying. This is not going to work. Do you get to a point where you tell them, hey, I don't see how this is going to work if you all continue? I mean, is there just a hopeless situation for some people?
So with some clients, when I get to that point and realize that, it becomes that moment of clarity with them and just asking them, what do you really want? Do the two of you truly want to stay together and work things out? Because if so, then you need to do this. Okay? And so really having that heart-to-heart conversation with them and putting that energy into, do you want to find a solution? And if their response is, well, yes, we do, okay, then this is what you need to do. But there's only so much I can continue to do if you aren't willing to do the work and put the work in. So I put the ball back in their court and then leave it up to them. I've done my part. This is what you need to do to keep going. Now it's truly up to you if you want to continue to work together and build this relationship.
Gotcha.
And I'll leave it to them.
Gotcha.
Right.
Have you ever met a couple that you felt like you wanted them to work more than they wanted it to work?
Yes.
Like, I really want to see you can do this.
Yes.
You really want to see them make it.
Right.
And then they just,
it's like, oh, I put my energy into it, I'm being positive, wanting them to continue to go. But at the end of the day, once again, it's truly up to them. And I can be their biggest cheerleader. But at the end of the day, do they really want to do that?
Yeah, that's truly the answer. Do they really want to do it? And if they really want it to happen, then they need to put forth the effort to make it happen. I think any relationship or any marriage can be saved if they're really, like you said, take the steps, follow the advice, do the homework, everything that you're asking, and then they got to keep it going.
They have to.
You know what to do now. Keep it going.
They have to want it. They have to want it.
So I see here that what can readers expect in your second book? A taste of Twila's poetry and pictures. That's very interesting.
Yes, I was still in my poetry phase, and I was like, "Oh, I want to do erotic poetry."
Well, that's kind of where I met you, doing erotic poetry at the lounge. Yes.
And so with the book, the poems are a little bit of fantasy and reality when it comes to my past, I'll say, sexual experiences. And so once again, I wanted to put it out on paper. I was motivated to create this book. It's like, I can do it. I did a first book. I can do a second book. So with the Poetry and Pictures book, it really is poems, and it is very sensual and erotic pictures. So it's a fun book. I enjoyed it. And from that book, created a Taste of Sex Intimacy Coaching.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Right,
Okay,
it
so that's
is.
kind of where that sparked and just came to life.
Yes, yes.
That's cool.
I was like, how can I make this passion into a business? And so during COVID, I was like, how can I turn poetry into a coaching business about sex?
Right.
And I woke up and decided I'm going to be a sex coach.
And you went for it.
And I did.
What do people think when they say, oh, a sex coach? What is she doing now? Because that's what
usually
people
their
always
response.
will say. What are you doing now?
Yes. What is a sex coach? What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
How did you get certified to be a sex coach? Is that a real thing? It's very much a real thing. I went online, found a program, became certified, and now I am teaching people about intimacy, relationships, and how to have a healthy sex life.
Right.
Right.
So being a coach of intimacy, which people truly don't understand the meaning of that, you just explained to us that it's more than just a physical feeling or a physical touch. You get weirdos in your DM?
Oh, absolutely.
All the time.
Absolutely. Messenger, email, text.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yes, you name it. Now that'll probably be my third book.
Oh really?
Yes, In the Adventures of a Sex Coach.
Oh wow.
I really
That's
think
gonna be
is
interesting.
Going to be my third book of the messages that I have received from
I can only imagine.
the characters. Yes. Oh yes.
All right, you all, we are with Miss Twila B. Goode. We will be right back, though. We're going to get more information from her about this wonderful topic of sex and intimacy, relationships, and just making love. What does it all mean? So we'll be right back here. This is the Business Alliance Center with Miss Denice Stanford. We'll see you in a moment. Alrighty, we are back with Miss Twila B. Goode. Twila is our special guest today, and she is the owner of a Taste of Sex Intimacy Coaching. She has a website, and Twila, give them your website real quick.
Yes, my website is Twila, Twila, B as in boy, GOODE.com.
Okay, and she also has some social media outlets as well, right?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at twilab.goode.
Well, with that being said, though, when you do coach people and people approach you about the coaching, do they sometimes have the misunderstanding that you're coaching about just sex and intimacy and teaching them how to have sex or how to make love? Like, I'm not here to be a third person in your little fiasco going on, but, people do get the wrong idea.
And they do. And so when I'm looking at my Google Analytics to see how my website is performing, the number one goal that people type in is sex therapy or sex. Sex near me.
Okay.
And their goal is to find sex near them.
Okay.
And so from that, it shows me what people are typing in, which then shows me why I'm getting these different type of photos, if you will, because some people out there are looking for that quick and easy hookup. I don't know if you remember back pages from way back when, and you could go on back pages and find a sex-related industry near you, and that's what some people think maybe this business is, and so they want to invite me to be part of their group, if you call it. But no, that's not what this is about
at all.
And I put that disclaimer out there. Also to that, that's why I vet who I am talking to. That is why I have a questionnaire that you complete. So I have all of that information on there to figure out what is your motive. Why are you contacting me? Are you trying to see if this is a
swingers group or something that and I'm not knocking them or anything like that, but
absolutely,
that's not what you're here for.
But I do get that, and so I say all of that because I have those disclaimers out there to say no, that's not what this business is about. I'm not part of the back pages. I'm not,
Right.
I don't have a brothel.
Ain't no secret private room nowhere.
No, that's not what this is about. No.
So how do you present these adult topics in educational ways?
Basically, it's taking the time out to figure out what are they wanting to do. Is it more along the lines of intimacy and building that connection, or is it truly, how to have good sex with my partner? And so when I figure out what path they want to take, and so for example, if they want to learn how to have good sex, okay, then I'm talking to them about using all 5 senses when it comes to having good sex. Then I'm talking to them about how to touch their partner, and have they had the conversation on where to touch their partner. I may have the conversation on, do you want to try new things in the bedroom? What is that? What does that look like? And educating them on how to do that. But that is how I can kind of figure out, once I'm talking to them, is it focused on intimacy, effective communication? Right. Is it more so on the physical aspect of sex itself? Because I do get a lot of women who want to learn how to ride, who want to learn how to give head. And so, okay, these are the demonstrations. Right. This is what you need to do, and this is your homework.
And then, it's good to know that, because sometimes people's bodies react a different way. And if you know how the body is going to respond to certain things that you're doing, I think that's really good thought. That's a really good thing. Yes. Because like when you said you have to teach women how to give good head, and that's not being creepy or anything, because that's a natural part of making love. But some women don't know how to do it correctly, and they don't know how the body will respond when you do certain things, because it could cause the man to go down versus stay up.
Right. So it's all about teeth placement, and then we'll do some mouth exercises to make sure that you are opening the mouth up wide enough so that you can, take your partner in your mouth. I talk about diet. Hygiene is so important. A lot of times women may not want to do that particular act because maybe their partner is lacking in the hygiene area, or maybe they aren't eating the right foods, and so now when they do taste them, and they don't taste as savory, they may have a little bit of funk with it. And so I'm talking to them about all of that. And so even with women, same thing. They want their partner to go down on them. And so my question to them is, okay, what is your hygiene practice like? Do you properly wash yourself? Do you know how to wash yourself? Are you drinking enough water so that she's, full of, she's hydrated down there? So having that conversation with them is the biggest takeaway that they can get from all of that.
Wow, that's important. You probably don't even think about that, but then how do you tell your spouse, okay, you funky down there and that's why I don't do it? I mean, you might be afraid to say that.
And so how do I go
Maybe start in the shower. Like, let's take a shower together.
That's what you do. And so how can I tell my partner that they don't smell as fresh? And you don't want to hurt their feelings.
No, you don't.
What you can say is, let's take a shower together. And you just start washing.
You do the washing.
Right. Okay. And to them, it's foreplay. And so you're being very sexy with it as you wash them, complimenting them on how they look, and say, you can say, I simply love doing this for you. I enjoy this as you wash them. Makes the best of both worlds.
There you go. That's a great strategy. Right. Y'all hear that? That's a great strategy.
Wash each other.
Absolutely. So we have another statement here, and hopefully I don't butcher this one up, y'all. But you may not realize being fit is also crucial for your sexual health. Right. Women who exercise up to 6 hours per week, in contrast, showed lower sexual distress and resistance in their clitoral arteries compared to women who did not exercise, according to a 2021 study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine. That I never thought about. How crucial is physical health to sexual health?
Well, physical health is so important. I mean, sex is exercise. Both of y'all are working it out. You're sweating, you're breathing hard, all of that. And, sex is really only for a short period of time. But you can feel like so tired afterwards. And so what you want to do is, what foods are you eating? That all plays a part in a healthy sex life. Are you both being physically fit, going out to the gym, or just taking walks around maybe your office, campus, whatever that is? But all of this helps with blood flow. It helps with men with an erection, their high blood pressure. You know, if they do have high blood pressure, walking and exercising can get the blood pressure low. But also with women, you know, making sure that we are physically fit, making sure that our clit is staying healthy, if you will, drinking enough water, because what happens is as we get older, the vaginal walls start to dry out. So now you're wondering why I may be having painful sex. Well, if you're dry down there, you could be, it could be due to lack of hydration, you know, not staying hydrated enough, making sure you drink enough water.
Oh, that's a bad thing. Ooh.
Lubrication is so important. So you don't want to be dry because you don't want the sex to be painful.
Right.
So overall, the two of you can work out together. That's a date.
Right.
That's being intimate.
There you go.
You're spending time
Something you're
with
doing
each
together.
other. Yes. So work out together, eat healthy together. All of that plays a vital role in having a healthy sex life. Because as you get older, men and women, 40s and 50s, you know, the body changes.
Right.
Women are going through hormones. The change
40s and 50s
is happening. Trust me, I know. Yes. So exercise is key. Exercise is key. So important.
I believe it, because it is a workout. You're sweating, you're tired, you're like, okay, I'm glad that's over, but that was
those
good.
leg cramps, you know, his leg is up in the air, your leg is in the air, and next thing you know, you have a cramp.
Yeah. I'm like, move my leg because I'm tired.
Right.
Yes, true story. All right.
Oh, yes.
So your third statement here is, okay, oh no, let me just touch on this real quick. Why do you think people neglect being healthy?
Oh, wow.
Like, what's the, like, okay, I'm not going to do this.
Because it's so easy to fall into fast food. It's so easy to be complacent, to go for the junk food. But when it comes to eating healthy, you know, you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to invest. What do I want to invest in? Do I want to invest in eating healthy foods now? Or do I want to invest in paying all this money for pills that I have to pop every day because I didn't eat the right foods?
Right.
So you have to ask yourself, what do I want to invest in? And I think it's so easy for us in society to, you know, grab the chips or grab the candy or grab the cookies because it's right there at the grocery store. The display is right there when you're checking out.
Yeah, intentionally.
It's intentional. All of that is intentional. And so that is the easy part, is to grab the junk food. It may not cost as much as the fresh produce, if you will, over here. And so oftentimes we as a society, we will gravitate toward the non-healthy items because it's convenient. Because there are plenty of fast food restaurants that we can go to, you know, but they really don't have like a lot of vegan fast food restaurants, you know, so you just gravitate towards what's convenient.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's very good. I really appreciate your time today.
Oh,
I
thank
have
you.
come to a whole new understanding of intimacy, because a lot of people think it's just sex, and it's not. So I understand your profession more, how much it takes, how much is involved, your energy, everything.
Yes.
It's very important. So if you all would like to stay in touch with Miss Twila Be Good, make sure that you check out her on her website, on Facebook, on
Instagram.
Yes. I mean, I've seen a couple videos on TikTok even, but it's all Twila Be Good.
Right.
So if you find her in this beautiful face, you're going to be in the right place. She's going to take good care of you. My name is Denice Stanford with the Business Alliance Center, and I'm here to help you on your business journey. If you would like to interview with us and get your story out there and let us know what you do, please contact us at our message center at 682-422-7090. And we do have a small business feature, so stay tuned at the end of our video. We're going to be doing a wonderful highlight with Miss Treva Sneed, Love on Purpose Candles. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
The names of my candles are based off love songs. And so I kind of found that, I'm like, okay, but it's nothing explicit, but it's true love, because that's what Love on Purpose is about, is love. It's a whole new meaning. And
Whole
loving
new
you on purpose too, a whole new meaning. And they actually come in several different sizes, up to 22 ounce. And if you see, either they have scripture or something positive, and that's what you'll get when you purchase a Love on Purpose candle.